All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Sports Insiders. I am your host. We are the hosts. I'm Denzel Snipe. This is Sean Russey, the sports agent himself, MLB and NFL, of course. And before we get started, we just like for everybody to catch us or follow us on all of our socials. We're of course on YouTube. Some of you watch us on YouTube right now. Some of you may be watching us on X. Follow us on there, and also we're on Facebook as well as TikTok at Sideline Sports and Sideline Sports One. We got great shows every all throughout the week. If you're catching us on YouTube, follow us and hit the notification bell for all updates and new episodes. Sean, how's it going tonight, man?
No, everything's going good, man. Do a quick show here before we get Dolphins and Ravens tonight. I really wish they started flexing Thursday games.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of sees first degree murder coming, but
Yeah.
but anyhow, even though, like, even if I, I said last night on Picked Off, I said, you know what, I would actually sit Lamar for one more game and let him get a little healthier because Tyler Huntley could beat the Dolphins. He could blow out
Yeah,
the Dolphins.
I agree. I don't think there's really any reason to run him out there tonight, but maybe it'd be a quick, hey, go put up 28 real quick and we'll sit you by halftime.
Hey, you know what? That works too. That works also. Well, how about last night? How about this whole week in general, man? The Blue Jays are one win away from bringing the World Series trophy north of the border for the first time in 32 years. So, the Dodgers are defending champions. Of course, the series is currently 3-2. Sean, you want to get into the game by game highlights?
Yeah, so game one, Toronto really stomped them, and it includes the first pinch hit grand slam in World Series history, which was surprising to me, figuring we've had 123 of these World Series now. Um, First pinch hit, that was Addison Barger, and that really broke that game open. But 11-4, Los Angeles came back the next game and just completely shuts down the lineup 5-1. And, so we go to LA 1-1, and you figure that's where LA wanted to be, right? Split it
Right.
in the Rogers Center, go back to LA, try to end it kind of similar to what they did last year, and avoid going back to Toronto. Especially it's kind of like playing in Seattle. It's just a different environment for a major league stadium and the crowd. So game three, which was an absolute marathon, um, I believe the actual final was 6-5, not 2-1. They took
It
the
was
2-1
6-5.
lead. Yeah, they took a 2-1 lead after that game. But so second longest game in World Series history, actually to the Dodgers and Red Sox in 2018, which went 7 hours and 20 minutes, but also 18 innings.
18 innings, yep.
Um, Freeman has a walk off, which we'll touch more on in a little bit in the 18th. I believe that game wrapped up like 2:30 in the morning. But and
Yeah, man.
and you figure that's just one of those games that it's like that's going to take a lot out of both teams. And it looks like what it's done though, it's taken more out of the veteran Dodgers than it did the young Blue Jays.
Hmm.
Um, Toronto comes out game four, they start hot, they win 6-2. Then yesterday,
Not to mention, before you continue, in Game Four, this was the first time of the 100 something World Series played, the first time in World Series history that a team began the game with back-to-back home runs. 3 pitches in, 2 home runs, to include the first pitch of the game.
I was going to say only three pitches, two solo shots. And that's kind of what Toronto needs at home again, but we'll touch on that shortly. But then yesterday, the rookie Trey Yasavage strikes out 12-7, another record. He ends up setting multiple records. The Jays take a 3-2 lead and on a 4-1 win. So the Dodgers really, since the end of the eighth inning in Game Three, they've scored 4 runs.
Hmm.
It's looked like Game Three has taken a lot out of them. They're getting a day of rest here now. But I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think it's going to take a real big effort tomorrow from the Dodgers to take Game Six in the Rogers Center.
It is, and with the because when it comes to the postseason, right, and everyone when it comes to Shohei Ohtani and him in the postseason, it's easy to point to NLCS Game Four, his 10 strikeout, 3 home run performance, right? What if I told you that in 12 of the 15 games in the postseason that he has played, he has only he has had either no hits or only one hit in 12 of those 15 games.
Yeah, it's kind of like Aaron Judge. These stars, for whatever reason, just struggle with the tightened strike zone, and obviously they're getting a little more intentional walks depending on the situation in the postseason if the team can stomach putting a guy on base. Um, but it's interesting to see what happens to some of these stars that just struggle on the postseason stage, and they just during the regular season you can't touch these guys.
Hmm. Yep, and let's see more records. So during the marathon game, same guy, Shohei Ohtani, he actually reached base 9 times, which is a new postseason record. He had 4 extra base hits, he had 2 doubles and 2 home runs. He's the first player since 1906 to do so. And Freddie Freeman became the first player ever with multiple walk-off home runs in World Series history. Of course, he had that. And last year, he became the first in World Series history with a walk-off grand slam.
To end it. Yeah.
And then let's see here. Game 5 records, and we mentioned it. Trey Shavage had 12 strikeouts, most ever by a rookie in a World Series game. He's only the second pitcher ever to reach double-digit Ks through 5 innings in a World Series. Um, what to watch going forward? What do you got, Sean?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, 32 years, couldn't they finish it in 6 or 7? I think it'll be 6. The Dodgers veterans core will obviously have to have big game sixes. Freeman's got to show out. He can't just be the late inning guy in game 6. He's got to be consistent all 9. I don't think you want to go extras again. Even if they end up forcing game 7, I think another extra innings matchup could really put even more strain on an already overused Dodgers bullpen for this series.
Right.
The one thing Toronto got out of that extra inning game is one of their relievers ended up throwing like 60 pitches and going 4 innings,
Hmm.
where the Dodgers were doing a lot more switching. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think if you see Toronto jump up early, I think we could see a blowout tomorrow. I like I said, bullpen fatigue is a major factor right now. And then we still have some total records that could be broken if they hit extra innings again. They could potentially break the World Series record for total of extra innings played in a series. Total
Hmm.
strikeouts in a series is in play, and total walk-offs for a World Series would be in play. Um, so it'll be interesting to see, but I think they're wrapping this up tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And so moving on, the NBA sports betting, a short update. What do you got, Sean?
Yeah, so Anthony Davis's name has come out now as unnamed player number 4. He's not charged at this time. It suggests he gave out injury info in terms of, I'm assuming himself, especially when he went down last season. Um, again, this is going to be an unfortunate thing for the NBA. It's it's hard to say it's as bad as Donnie right now, but it seems to be getting larger as the days go.
It is.
Um,
This is just the beginning, man. I don't know why I got a feeling so many names are gonna come out. Some that people are gonna be shocked at, and some are gonna be like, okay, I can kind of see that. Like,
Well, especially with what's surrounding Chauncey, and you've got a bunch of guys just being like, we didn't even know he gambled on his downtime.
mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what comes out. Now we mentioned the unnamed Magic player last week. They've narrowed that down to the April 6th, 2023 game versus Cleveland. I believe the Magic had already clinched the playoff berth during that season. 5 potential players that sat that game are current roster players: Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr., all starters for the Magic right now. And then
Wow.
former players Markel Fultz or Gary Harris. Similar to Davis, they shared info that the Magic would be resting their starters, on that night. The Magic have a 60-40 chance that the guy is on their roster, and if he's on their roster based on the behavior that's been treated so far, now there's been no punishment for Davis yet. Be interesting to see what happens, but based on the punishments for Billups and Rozier, you would figure they may end up asking Anthony Davis to take a leave, and whoever ends up being named here from these 5 guys to also take a leave.
Okay. Yeah, this has the potential to go on for quite some time. I had no knowledge of what's going on. So with that, and of course, we will have more for you on the Sports Insiders as this thing develops. And then last but not least, we've got the WWE Saturday Night Main Event this weekend. Cards and predictions. So the card, before we want to highlight, uh, for the IC titles, the triple threat match. Dom Mysterio defend against Penta and Rusev. Um, how about this? And I guess people could say it's about time. Jade Cargill finally turns heel, and she faced Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Cody Rhodes versus McIntyre Part Two is going to happen for the WWE title, and then for the World Heavyweight title, we've got for the vacant World Heavyweight title, we've got Jey Uso facing CM Punk. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they get a fifth match here on SmackDown because this is a small card even for Saturday night. They usually have at least 5 or 6 matches. So these are the four announced. Dom Penta and Rusev is I guess kind of interesting. I think they need to give the belt to Penta, especially since Dom's holding that AAA title and they keep moving him back and forth. Not saying they need to take him off Raw or anything, but I think if you just need him to have a belt, let him have that one for now and elevate Penta for the time being, especially since you're going into Rumble season and Mania season. You get some new stuff started. It was an interesting little tease last week where Rusev helped Penta for about 2.5 seconds and then immediately turned back on him.
Yeah, indeed. And then let's see here for Tiffany Stratton. No, so does Jade Cargill pull it off, or what's going on?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I think especially since we saw the heel turn, where she, wiped out Stratton this past week. I think she'll get the title here. Either that, or maybe they have a shock return and someone screws Cargill. It'll be interesting to see what goes on there. But it may be time to just put Tiffany back to chasing for a little bit.
Okay. And then let's see. Rhodes McIntyre WWE Championship. I think this is McIntyre's time. This is it right here. McIntyre closes the deal on this one.
Yeah, and I think depending where they're going with War Games, this helps add a guy to each side that will have some beef in it. If Rhodes wins again, I don't really think it makes sense to add either of the guys to a team. But if Rhodes loses, it would kind of make sense, especially if the vision is short. Let McIntyre join the vision for War Games, let Rhodes join the face side, and let them go at it again in the cage.
Yep. And then and last but not least, Jay Uso. But okay, Jay Uso, CM Punk. It's hard to pick in this one. It's hard to pick. But someone will win the World Heavyweight title for a second time in 2025. Who do you got?
So it's hard to figure, and like you said on the Monday show, are we really going to give Punk another 48-hour reign here? Because it seems like the ideal thing is to move whoever wins into a match with Breaker, who seems like he's destined to win this title before the end of the year. But I have, I guess they could possibly have the Vision crush both of them, and you do a no disqualification, and it leads to maybe a triple threat with Uso, Punk, and Breaker for the title on Monday. But one thing I have, and especially since we figured Jimmy's going to be involved, what if the Usos both turned and they're the other two
Mm,
guys the Vision takes?
wow. Hmm. Okay. I mean, this is tough because with the Vision, it's like now Braun Breaker's the lead dog. Do you really think Jay Uso's gonna set his championship aspirations to the side in favor of Braun Breaker?
I wonder if the line led by Heyman in terms of you still got some time to learn leads them to bringing in a hired gun as champion. And then you've
Hmm.
got the overlap with Roman then being upset, Punk then being upset. If Rhodes loses to McIntyre, you've got your four, so you could still add Rhodes on the other side as he's now got no title. But I think you got Punk and Roman teaming up versus four strong heels at that point, and two that you didn't expect to have Roman fight.
Hmm. Okay then. And so, and this essentially would be kind of like a bloodline split. So a face Roman comes back and has to face it, and also, and you know what? You could actually stretch this if you wanted to, if they wanted to, because it could eventually force a Roman Rollins reunion.
Yeah, and I think like we talked about Monday, it really depends. Is Seth out past WrestleMania? Is Seth out only up until a certain point, but he's not back for the Rumble, but he's back for Elimination Chamber? A lot of that I think plays into what happens Saturday. Now, the other, I think the most realistic outcome obviously is the Vision just destroys both of them and forces the triple threat. I don't think anyone wins the title belt Saturday, but I would like to see them, swerve everybody and turn the Usos heel.
Okay. But then when would the world title be decided?
I think Monday, Pierce comes out, Breaker demands his spot. He realizes he's going to destroy every match he puts up for the world title without putting him in it. Uso and Punk. And then remember, you've got Reigns that could play a part because Uso accidentally cost him the Bronson Reed match.
Mm, this is true. This is true. He very well could play a part in this one. All right. So your prediction, you're saying no winner on Saturday night, and it will be decided Monday in a triple threat.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Sports Insiders. We'll have more for you next week. We'll do a top rope talk. We'll actually do a recap of Saturday night main event with myself, Sean Russey, and also Jacob Christner. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels at Sideline Sport One, and we'll see you all next week.